Okay, good evening again, everyone. We'll move on to our next section of our of tonight's ministry, and it's the Lecto Divina. And like I said, I thank you again for all the new faces, and some of those are returned. But tonight's Lecto Divina, if those who are not familiar, Lecto Divina in Latin is divine reading. So what we do is we pick a verse and we read it, we meditate on it, and we allow God to speak to us through this verse. And what I'll do is I'll read the verse that we have for tonight, which is 2 Timothy 1:7. So if you guys want to jot it down for further reference. So I'll read the scripture. I'll read it twice. Allow us to meditate on it, and then when we come back from the little break that we're giving, I encourage you guys to share, because that what that does is it's like they say, iron sharpens iron, so that it helps us as a group get our relationship closer to God. So I encourage you. It's not mandatory, but I encourage you guys to share. Those that are listening to us on our YouTube or our Instagram, feel free to type in what God spoke to you through the verse in the comments. All right. Lord, speak, and your servant is listening. For God did not give us a spirit of timidity, but a spirit of power and love and self-control. Word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. We'll go ahead and read it again a little slower. For God did not give us a spirit of timidity, but a spirit of power and love and self-control. So right now, close your eyes. Let God speak to you. I'll allow a few minutes, and then like I said, I'd love to hear from you. Okay, we'll go ahead and begin sharing. I will go ahead and go first. For me, this verse I hold dear to my heart, because when I started to my journey with my walk with God, I was right around the time that in my addiction, and I knew I didn't want to be in that addiction anymore, but was too afraid uh, to know what I was going to do or how I was going to remove myself from where I was at. And just so happened, um, the priest at church had given this verse, And I remember writing it down and going home and just reading it and contemplating on it, and just it just gave me a sense of safety and of hope that God didn't give me a spirit of fear. I know that they say timidity on there, but a fear, but a power and love and self control, and that self control that I knew that I had, that I could change and not be in that addiction anymore. So this verse is true to my heart, and I really like it, and I call upon it a lot of times when I have fear through some of the trials and tribulations that I go on throughout my life. So again, I'd love to hear from each and every one if possible, but share would be nice.
I want to share. Um,
Thank you, Nina.
Let me read it on the another version than the one we have. And it says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of virtue and of love and self-restraint." So for me, when I read it, it makes me understand that we're all created with this. Like we all have this, but we also have free will, right? To make choices, decisions. And we see the evil in the world, but it's not because that's what God intended. Because God made us, each of us, with this virtue, of love, of self-restraint, of knowing what's good and what's bad. But He also gave us free will. And it just makes me believe that everyone's good inside. And there's something that happens, that separates us from that good, whether it's things that we've gone through as a child or whatever decisions we've made in our life, that we turn to certain things that aren't good for us. And then it creates all this that's happening in the world. But we were all born with this. And we all could return to this, and that's why I believe in the power of prayer, because I know that everyone has good in them. Everyone does. And if we return to that good, the world would become what God intended it to be, where there's love and not hate, where there's peace and not war. So I truly believe in this, and my prayer is for all human beings to return to this, what God intended for us. So that's how I took it when I read it. Since Yoli sent it to us, it's like, God, it's so true.
Preach, Nina. Amen. Thank you so much. Would anyone else like to share? Don't be shy. We're not grading you on any of this.
You can also type it on the chat if you don't want to speak.
I'll share a little bit.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, to me, it's just those. He gave us power, love, and self-control. Power, love, self-control. We need that so much in our daily living, with our daily struggles, and to know that we are equipped, that God gave us the strength, gave us the power, the love, and to have that self-control. And but in my journey with God, I lost self-control a lot. you know just I had issues with my anger for many years, and didn't have that much self-control. And it's just, even though I was equipped with that spirit, but there was something that was overshadowing that, and was more powerful within myself, which is some sort of trauma that I was dealing with, for a great deal of my life that I didn't even know about. And even though we all possess that, I possess that ability to have a power, to have control. There's some things that happen in our lives that kind of, make us weak. And it seems like that spirit had to be reactivated. It had to be empowered. And like what Nina said, prayer through prayer, just to get close to God. It's like this cold weather. I mean, if we get close to a heater, that heater will warm our bodies. And it seems like when speaking for myself, even though I knew God, I would go to church, but that spirit, I didn't feel that power for many years. I didn't feel that self-control until I started developing a more deeper relationship with God, more profound, heart to heart, more, when I started dedicating true quality time with God, it's when I was able to heal from all the brokenness that was holding me down, the guilt, the anger, and the division within my family because of my attitude, the way I was behaving. So it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight, but through Redeem, I've encountered that through this series of inner healing, I was able to overcome many of those traumas that were holding me back and making me weak and causing me to lose control. So, now reading this scripture, I'm not done yet, but I could say that I could experience a self-control more often than less. And I could feel that empowerment of God. But it all came about with, taking God serious in my life and putting him first and creating a deeper relationship with him.
I can go next. Hi everyone, my name is Irene. Um, for me, I read, I don't know how to say her name, Bitsy, and it's similar to me to what she said, where this one thing, fear or timidity, holds us back from a lot of things, and it's this one thing that we don't have, but we sure hold on to it. So it can hold you back from applying to a new job. It can hold you back from, meeting a person. It could hold you back. Even me with religion, fear, any fear can hold you back. Therefore, it it really holds you back in life. Fear, this idea in your head, this anxiety, these overthinking thoughts that we tell ourselves. But interestingly, what God did equip us with is love, power, and discipline, and that should weigh out more than fear. Yet, we let our thoughts overrule ourselves, and we don't trust God. But yeah, that's what it meant to me.
I think Marcus can't
He's
unmute himself. Oh,
having-
there you go. Go ahead, Marcus.
I'm sorry,
I think he's having technical difficulties. Either that or I'm frozen. But I just want to say thank you, everybody, for sharing. I don't know if anybody else wants to share. A lot of great perspectives, testimonies, and it's a great way to a great segue to our new series. I think all your perspectives and your thoughts about what we're going to start. I don't know if anybody else wants to share. As we said, you can type it on the chat. Thank you for those that have already shared. Since Marcus is.
I think we're gonna go ahead and watch a video before he introduces you, Yoli. So that way maybe he'll have a little time.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jose.
Holistic human experience. Tie that scripture